George Weah is more than just a former FIFA star. Weah is more than just a Liberian legend. George Weah is the Michael Jordan of Africa. He accomplished what many African males wish to do. Weah exceeded expectations as a child from Liberia's Grand Cru County. The living conditions were bad, and it caused his father to move him and his brothers to Monrovia for a chance of a better life, which caused Weah to be raised in the Claratown district. During his early years, his father, who was a mechanic, passed away when the family moved to Monrovia. It was reported that his mother abandoned him and his brothers when the family was together in Grand Cru. She didn't return to his life until he became a football star. His grandmother was forced to take on the role of father and mother that caused Weah to sell items in the busy streets of Monrovia to help provide food for his grandmother and brothers. Weah had to mature and grow into a man at a young age. Having to work in the streets as a child forced him to not start school until his early teenage years. He started playing football in the streets of Monrovia, which enabled him to become skillful to play for local teams such as Invincible 11, Mighty Barrow, on Grange Bonguin, and a young survivors team who didn't have a coach. His ability to keep control of the ball, combined with his blazing speed, caused him to stand out among the rest. In the 1980s, Weah was able to showcase his talents on the continental level, playing for the Liberian national team, which caught the attention of the Cameroonians. In 1987, Weah signed a 3-year semi-professional contract with Tonnerre of Yaoundé, winning the league title in his first season with the team. Despite his success with the club, Cameroonian head coach Claude Leroy encouraged Weah to showcase his talents on the international stage. In that same year, he was recruited by French manager Arsène Wenger. He was signed by AC Monaco of the French First Division. In his 5 seasons with Monaco, 1987 to 1992, he scored 57 goals, and the team won the French Cup in 1991. His exceptional dribbling and shooting skills made him a fan favorite, and his uncompromising work ethic and technical ability landed him a contract with Paris Saint-Germain. In his most acclaimed season, he led PSG to the French Cup, the league title, and the semifinals of the 1995 European Champions League. After that, in 1995, he transferred to AC Milan in Italy's Serie A, helping the club win the 1996 and 1999 league titles. In January of 2000, AC Milan loaned him to Chelsea of London, where he made a contribution to that team's Football Association Cup triumph. At the end of his career, he played briefly with Manchester City and Marseille in France. Weah scored more goals and played in more matches than any other African professional in Europe, which earned him the right to be labeled as the Michael Jordan of African football. Despite Weah's achievements on the global stage, locally he was never able to lead Liberia to the World Cup. As a matter of fact, the country has never qualified for it and has only qualified for the African Cup of Nations, which is a tournament that determines which African team make the World Cup, only twice. This year, Liberia once again won't qualify for the World Cup because they didn't make it to the African Cup of Nations tournament. During the AFCON qualifiers, the Lone Star couldn't even play at their home stadium. This is because FIFA banned the Samuel K. Doe Sports Complex from hosting any World Cup qualifying games. The stadium in general is outdated and needs to be upgraded to meet new millennium standards. Things as simple as hot and cold showers were not available for the players in the locker room. Such responsibility lays on the hands of now President of Liberia, George Weah. When elected in 2018, Liberians knew that it was unrealistic to believe that Weah could single-handedly fix all of the country's problems. But they had a right to believe that if it's one thing he improves, it's the state of not only the national football team, but the economical quality of football in the state. A man who has traveled to most, if not all, developed nations in the world should have knowledge on how to improve the game and bring much needed funding in a impoverished nation that has never recovered from a civil war that ended in the early 2000s. So the question is, what has caused Weah not to translate that same aggression he had on the field into the business realm of football? Could there be some bitterness from an incident in 2001? A match where Liberia lost to Ghana 2-1 in a World Cup qualifying match. It was reported that Weah was booed and items were thrown at his mother. After the game, Weah was quoted as saying, "I will not have anybody insult my mother. For that reason, I'll never be part of the Liberian team. I'm going to leave Liberia and go to the States and live my life." He also did not like the attitude of his teammates at the time, stating, "They behave like only George Weah wanted to go to the World Cup. They do not have conviction and do not have priorities. They behave like unprofessional players." Even though they made the World Cup qualifiers in Mali in 2002, the Lone Star team has remained somewhere between average and bad since then. Lately, in 2021, after they failed to qualify for the World Cup again, Weah stated that he was not disappointed in the team's performance and that fans should be patient and encourage them as they grow into men. The next Liberian presidential election is in 2023. It is highly likely that Africa's football legend will win. On a personal note, I don't know what Weah's goals and ambitions are set on for the second half of his life. But in my honest opinion, politics are not for sports legends. Athletes getting into politics could kill that Superman image that they once had among the people. The one thing about great athletes is that their play on the field has bigger power to unite political foes for a common goal. However, Liberians in general tend to think different when it comes to this topic, because being a football star in Africa means that you have to be the provider, the pastor, the doctor, the philanthropist, the activist, the prophet, and the second coming of Jesus Christ. At the end all, no matter what Weah do, he'll always be viewed as not only a Liberian icon, nor merely a FIFA star, but a legend, as the Michael Jordan of African football.
Do you wanna be like? Do you picture me like? What will I be when I grow up? Cause I never wanna be like them. Cause they never see me shine, nah. And I'm sorry for the me time, nah. I just had to get my mind